Today I'm going to show you how to install the WURST hacked client for Minecraft 1.17.1. I'm going to run you through all the different features, how to install it, and all of the different submods you're going to need to install, like Fabric, to actually get it running properly. Then I'm going to show you a routine overview of some of the most important commands and some of the most coolest features of the client which you guys probably are going to want to use, and how you can actually get the most enjoyment out of it. So I'll show you how to set up, how to use it, and show you a showcase of the features. I'll also make sure to timestamp these different sections so you can jump to which area of the video which best suits you if you've already installed it and want to know how to use it, or if you need to install it. One quick preface before starting this video is that I don't really have much time to play in multiplayer, so I don't actually use this on multiplayer. I personally think that you can ruin people's fun by using hacked clients, so I choose to only have fun with them in single player, but it's your choice how you use it. This is mainly just an educational guide on how to set it up and install it, but if you choose to use it on multiplayer, be careful. Also, a lot of servers will have anti-cheat now, and since this is one of the most popular public clients, you're most likely to get kicked or banned for using it, or if you use certain features in it, so do be careful. Also, alternatively, if you do want to know how to install Aristoas, which is the second most popular client, you can click the link down below, and I do have a video on that too. So let's get started. So on the WURST website, which is the wurstclient.net, which I'm going to link down below, you can download it on the homepage. And if you scroll down, you can see some of the most popular cheats and features, which I'm going to run through a little bit later in the guide. So you also have clients, so you can use clients, you can use features, and there's also other features, and some features do have default keybinds, okay? So things like X-Ray, we have X, things like FreeCam, we have U, and Nuka, we have N for an example, so this makes it a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and just click download WURST. And we're going to click on the WURST for Minecraft 1.17.1. The newest is 7.16, so we're going to click this. And as you can see in this version, they've added a new tree bot, which automatically walks around and chops down trees. So maybe we can test this out. They also have creative flight mode and crystal aura, which places and detonates end crystals to kill entities around you. This is a really cool version which added a few new features, so we're just going to go ahead and install this. Now the first step to install this is we need to download the Fabric installer. So we're going to go ahead and download this, click download installer, and I believe I do have Fabric 1.17.1 already installed, but I think there is a newer version since I've downloaded it, so this is important for me to update it. And another thing is you also need to download the Fabric API, okay? Fabric API, we can click on here. I'm going to leave the direct links down below for you guys to go straight to the download so it's a bit easy for you. And the Fabric API is basically a core library with a few different hooks and code bases which a lot of Fabric mods tend to use, including the WURST client. So we're going to go ahead and download this too. And now we've downloaded Fabric API, the Fabric installer, and we just click on the WURST client and we install this too. Okay, so now we have all three downloaded files, and we just go to our downloads folder. And to get this working, you need Java 16 and you need Java 8. So I will leave those down in the description too. I'm not going to show you how to install them because you just download them and then run the installer. But if you want things to work, you're going to definitely need to have those both installed because 1.17 runs on Java 16 now. So double click on the Fabric installer or right click and press open with Java if you have troubles doing that. And we have the Fabric installer. Make sure the version is 1.17.1. You can even extend the size of this just so you can see it a bit better. And then the loader version should be the newest one. And press create profile, which should already be ticked, and press install. And then it's successfully installed. So then the next step would be to install the Fabric API. So we can go ahead and delete this Fabric installer. Then what you need to do is you need to highlight both these files, the Fabric API and the WURST client, and right click and press copy or cut if you want to just completely move them. Click in this search bar at the top, type in $appdata, $, then click on .minecraft, go into the mods folder, and if there's anything in here already, you can just drag them off into different folders so they don't load, or you can delete them. And your folder should be empty, and press paste, and now we have our mods inside the mod folder. Now it's as simple as just opening up the Minecraft launcher, and when we open it up, we should have a brand new profile called Fabric Modloader 1.17.1 and just press play and launch it. And now it should load the WURST client and the Fabric API as mods using this loader. So if everything's working and you've clicked play on the Fabric profile, then everything should appear like this. In the bottom left it should say Fabric Modded 1.17.1 and you should be able to see the 1.17 loading screen. As long as it says Fabric and everything launches fine, we're on the right track. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new single player world and just call this WURST for the WURST client, and let's load it and test out the features. Now it's pretty interesting because the WURST client works in a different way to say Aristois, which installs just instantly into its own profile. WURST does actually use Fabric, so it basically just runs as a Fabric mod, just like any other Fabric mod, which is quite unique to say it's an actual hacked client. Okay, once we jump into the world, you can see in the top left it now says WURST, and since it says WURST, this means obviously that it's working because it's loaded into the game. Now I'm going to go into the options and go into video settings and just turn down the render chunks just a little bit, because we are running alongside some mods now, so it's going to affect the performance a little bit and give me some performance hitches, so I do want to just make the FPS a little bit better. And you'll notice when we press escape, not only is there options, there's a new WURST options button. So go into this, and from here we can view quite a few different useful links. So not only can we go to the wiki for additional information and help, we can also go on the zoom manager. So for an example, we can change the level of zoom and the zoom key. We can press V and it will zoom in. So just like on Optifine and certain versions of X-Ray, we can hold V and it zooms into objects, which is perfect to take screenshots or for recording to zoom into objects for more detail and for close-up shots. So that's the first thing. And then also on this options page, this is where you manage all of the X-ray blocks. So we can add different blocks here. Basically, it will detect the block based on the name that you type in. So if I just type in grass, it will detect the grass block. If I type in bookshelf, it'll detect bookshelf, but it's already on there for an example. You can also type in the ID of the block if you know what it is. So you could just type in a random ID and it will guess exactly what that is, for an example. And you can use this to actually add items to the list. And as you can see, we have a full block list over here, and these are the blocks which will be shown on the X-ray. So when you toggle X-ray, all these blocks will be shown to the player. So that's pretty interesting. You can also go into the Keybinds section. So this shows you all the binds for a lot of the different main quick features. The majority of features, the main features, already have keybinds for them. You can also add keybinds, so you can type in the command. So it might be like, I don't know, .Fulbright for an example. And you can change key and just type in the key you want to bind to it and press save, and that will toggle that key. Okay, now that particular command isn't actually a real command, but you can go on the website or the wiki for the full list of commands to use in the keybind section. So let's start. So the first keybind is X, so we're going to cover the X-ray first, which is why most people are probably watching this video. And you can see the X-ray does actually draw a lot of the new blocks in, so we can see copper, we can see redstone and iron and gold, all the old blocks. This lets us see all the blocks down below so we can get ores super quickly. Now this is mainly the only reason why a lot of people actually install this, because it's the main feature what people are actually looking for. Although you can obviously install X-Ray as a standalone mod, which I did post on my channel as a tutorial a few days ago if you don't want to have this whole client. Now X-Ray is pretty simple. You just toggle it by pressing X, and you can change the blocks which it draws on the options which I showed you a few moments ago. So pretty straightforward. There's also the Fulbright mode, which is C. So if we go to nighttime, where everything's really gloomy and super dark, you can see now we can't see a single thing, right? But if we press C, it kind of artificially illuminates the blocks. You'll see that it doesn't really do anything to the sky itself. The sky kind of stays the same, but it artificially illuminates the light levels which reflect off the blocks, so you can actually see everywhere. So that's pretty cool. The G key will activate fly mode. So providing we actually toggle the G key, this will activate fly mode, which functions a little bit different to creative fly. If you press double jump, it won't toggle the fly off. You have to press the G key to toggle it off. But using the G key, we can fly, and we can hold control to fly a little bit faster, although it doesn't really fly much faster. So this is actually better than creative fly because it gives you more speed and it gives you a little bit more control without the smooth camera feeling. There's also the H key, which as you can see in the chat, it tried to type in a command called /home. So on a lot of servers there's a plugin where you would type in /set_home and set where your home point is, which you can then teleport using the /home command, which obviously you have to keep typing in game. Well, if you just press H on this mod, providing you're on a server with this plugin, or on single player with a very similar mod that uses the same commands, you can use this H key just to teleport straight home as a quick keybind. This is pretty nice if you're in PvP or against mobs and you're going to die and you just quickly teleport home, or it's nice just so you don't have to actually type it every time. Now for the next one, we're going to try and find some water because we're going to be using the Jesus mode. Okay, so here we have a pool of water. So we're going to jump down, and if we walk on the water normally, we'll sink, right? Nothing happens. I'll even show you in third person mode, we just literally sink and that's it. But if you press J, which is for Jesus, this lets us walk on water. We basically become some kind of entity or demigod, and we can walk across the ocean, which is a really nice feature which doesn't tend to work on most servers, but it's really nice so you can cross the water really quickly and really easily without any problems and without having to swim. Although obviously since 1.13 with the whole swimming animation, it's a lot easier to swim now and get across the water than it was in the older versions. Then we have K, which is the multi-aura mode, which is pretty interesting. Okay, and multi-aura is basically one of those PvP plugins where even if we're not looking at the mobs, it will basically attack things around us. Okay, and this works better obviously if you have a weapon, and you can actually attack multiple mobs at once basically pretty quickly, and this basically works as a force field. Okay, so like I said before, if we do have a sword, this is way more effective. So this basically works as a force field and it will attack anything in the vicinity. Okay, so this is a little bit like some of the features from the Aristo's client which I showed yesterday. So this is multi-aura mode, and it's an extremely overpowered PvP tool. Okay, it's the N key which toggles nuker, which as you can see just completely obliterates the ground, and if you're not careful, you can easily fly under the world, so you want to be careful of that. This is probably the most powerful griefing tool which you can access to destroy the world, and it will definitely be banned, so just be careful. U is the key for the free cam, so if you press the U key, we can go into free cam mode, and then if you press F1, we can obviously go into the normal standard camera. You can even use V to zoom in while you're in here, and you've basically got a free cam which can fly around the world, which is a different position to where your player is. Now the only downside about the free cam is you can see the loading of the world is a little bit iffy. You can see it doesn't really load properly as it should, because usually the world will only load properly when the player actually walks to the edge of a chunk. So as you can see, it's a little bit glitchy, but it's pretty cool to get some panoramic shots and views from the sky without moving your player's position. Especially on a server, you can use this to kind of glide around and maybe record the spawn if you're doing a server advert, or just to check out the server whilst your player is still in the spawn if you don't have access to the actual fly mode. Okay, so the main other feature is the right shift key on the keyboard, which lets you access the GUI menu. Okay, so this GUI menu is where you can access all of the main cheats. So you can see we have the list of cheats here, which we can left click to toggle. We can click on them to actually toggle all the settings on them, and so on and so forth. Now, the last Aristo's video was around 30 minutes long because I actually jumped through nearly every single command. I'm just going to go through the command's explanations here. So, anti-AFK, for an example, will move you around in a 3x3 block area to prevent getting kicked. Anti-knockback prevents mobs and players from pushing you back. Auto armor will equip the best set of armor in your inventory. Auto fish will catch fish using the best fishing rod in your inventory, and it will automatically switch to it and catch the fish when it comes to the bait. Auto mine will mine any block that you're looking at, and auto potion will throw splash potions of health when you have low health. So that's another really overpowered PvP one. Base finder is interesting because it finds player bases by searching for man-made blocks. The blocks that you find will be highlighted in red, and it's good for finding faction bases. So you can see over here, it's highlighted some red blocks. Now, for some reason, it highlights things like cactus too, which is a little bit annoying because obviously I didn't make the cactus. But let's see if we just mine down to these man-made blocks. We can see in here is found a dungeon. So it actually helps you to find dungeons as well. So a lot of the structures which you find won't be player bases, but it helps you find dungeons, strongholds, and anything which is not really supposed to be there or is not the same as the normal stone blocks above it. So this is actually a really cool thing to find dungeons and different structures underground also. Boat fly mode is hilarious, and that's something which I'm actually going to show you because I just feel like that's such a underrated feature which is just hilarious. So we can just literally hold space and fly on our boat through the sky. Like, how cool is that? It makes literally no sense, but it's pretty cool. The only downside is I'm not sure what the key is to fly downwards. There must be a key to actually go down, but I'm not sure what it is. It's not control. Oh, okay, I think the boat just drops by itself. So we could just literally use the flying boat to explore like this massive ravine and go up and down the ravine and see what's down there, and then we could just fly out of there. So it's a pretty funny feature to mess around with. Then we have build random, which will build random things around you. Obviously you need to have blocks in your inventory for this to work. It doesn't really tend to build anything interesting. I think this is mainly just a griefing tool because all the blocks it builds are just kind of a complete mess. Then you have Cave Finder, which I didn't show you earlier. So Cave Finder is just very similar. It kind of falls into the same category as X-ray in Fulbright mode, for an example. And instead of showing you where the ores are, it will highlight all of the tunnels in red, so you can go find all the tunnels underground. Chest ESP will highlight a green box around chests and barrels, an orange block around trap chests, cyan blue outline around ender chests, and purple around shulker boxes. And you can see it's actually even found some chests underground, but most of these chests will probably be dungeons or mine shafts because obviously I'm playing on single player. Now if you activate the click GUI, which I just did then, it will basically allow you to change all the settings in these little menus which you can drop down and click. Now there's also kill potion, which gives you a potion which literally you just use and it just kills you. I always thought that was a pretty hilarious feature. There's also Kaboom, which creates an explosion in the blocks around you, and I believe this is just a toggle once command, so you have to toggle it each time you want to use it, and it kind of functions like TNT. There's also Excavator, so you can select a position and then go and select another position and press enter. For the start position, select a position and press enter, and then it will scan this area and it'll basically just go through and excavate it, and basically you'll behave like a quarry even though you're a player, which is pretty funny. Then there's also Tunneler, which automatically digs a tunnel in front of you. This is actually perfect for strip mining. So for an example, if you do have a pickaxe, this will just go through, walk straight forwards and create a tunnel along a specific path's trajectory, which is extremely awesome. Now, as you can see, I'm in creative, so I have a pretty far reach, but in normal survival I would have a smaller reach and the player would walk forward after mining only a few blocks. I think this might use the baritone mod, which is basically a pathfinding and auto mining mod, but this is pretty cool and it just allows for automation for strip mining, which you could leave on completely automatically or AFK. So that's how to install the WURST hacked client, all the features which are important and well known, and a few little unique features. It would take forever to cover literally every single one and cover all the commands, but you can view those on the website in the wiki, which I'll link down below, along with the downloads for Fabric and the client itself to install it. If you have any questions, do let me know too, and I'll try and get back to you and answer them as soon as possible.